Hey, what's up, lightboltjoe here. Today we are going to discuss the 2018 horror film Insidious: The Last Key. So this is written by Leigh Whannell, directed by Adam Robinall. He's the director of Escape Room, that awesome horror film. There's a second one coming out sometime soon. Yeah, this is a pretty cool movie. Like, there was actual like humor in it here and there from Tucker and Specs, which I didn't expect, which was pretty neat. But like, we just get more backstory. So in the third one, this is in like the aughts, and we only know that time period because the girl Quinn has like one of those like sidekick phones with the keyboard in it. We know that the events of Insidious takes place in like 2010, and then Insidious: The Last Key takes place in 2010, but literally right before Elise, Tucker, and Specs get to the Lambert house to try to help Dalton, because we see Elise and her nieces opening a red door, seeing Dalton, fall off the ladder in the attic, and then that's what sparks his further astral projection, because he sees something in the attic, but now we know that it's Elise and her nieces. So we start out in 1957, Five Keys, New Mexico. Elise and her brother Christian are in a house. Their father is an abusive, terrible, horrible human being. But we didn't know how extent of horrible he actually was. So he would beat Elise. Elise, is learning the psychic abilities that she has. She inadvertently opens a red door in the basement after her father locks her down there. Mother tries to get her out, but then whatever demon she unleashes is what kills her mom. Like, wraps wires around her mom's neck, hangs her mom, and then of course the father, blames Elise for the death. So years go by, and Elise and her brother, Elise is now 16, Elise, her brother, is a little bit younger, and they hear something in the laundry room. She looks and she sees this dead woman in the laundry room, and Christian doesn't want to see because it's obviously not real, quote unquote, obviously not real. So her father doesn't see the entity, and of course threatens to beat her again, but then she grabs his head and she shows him his death. He's gonna have a heart attack in the bathtub, and then she runs away from home. So then years go by, and then Elise starts doing her psychic stuff, and we eventually get back to 2010. So Specs and Tucker now live with Elise. They all run the spectral ghost hunting thing that they do, and they get a call from this guy Jack Graza, that he's now living in Elise's old house, and there's ghosts, and he just needs them gone. So she doesn't want to go back to her childhood home because there's horrible memories there, but she goes back to the childhood home with Specs, with Tucker. They do investigating, they find different spirits and stuff. Elise is getting all these things. There's a whistle her brother lost when he was 6, that Christian lost when he was 6. And they're finding different clues and stuff, and then they find a woman chained up behind a wall in the basement, and it turns out Jack is actually kidnapped this woman, has kept her there for 4 months. The police had to get involved. It was a whole abduction thing, but in the process, Jack's now trying to kill Specs because he locks Tucker and Elise in this room. So Specs throws a bookcase down on Jack. His head explodes. And then Elise is now being interrogated, but it's a matter of what entity possessed Jack to kidnap this woman. But then the more they investigate, the more that they find that the woman that Elise was seeing when she was a kid, turned out she was alive. She wasn't dead. That her father actually was kidnapping women as well and killing them and leaving them in that fall shelter prior to stuffing their bodies in suitcases and shoving him down vents, which Elise later found. And you're like, wait, what? So it was a twist I didn't see coming, that it became a murder mystery, along with the fact that it's a demonic, poltergeisty, ghosty horror film. It was just so cool having the different twists and turns to it that I genuinely did not expect it, and that's the beauty of Leigh's writing. Leigh Whannell is a great writer. He's a great, great artist, and I'm very happy that he put together the little puzzle pieces of more of Elise's character. So we faced the demon off. The demon design was really cool. Got the keys on his hand. Takes Elise's nieces, has her father's soul trapped in this underground, prison thing, and Elise takes her hatred out on her father by beating him, just like how he beat her, but it's feeding the demon. And then her niece comes in and blows the whistle and saves the day, and Elise realizes she can't feed the devil the hatred anymore. She breaks the cane, throws it away. The father is then just disintegrated by the demon after he says he's sorry, but it's irrelevant at this point. And then Elise's mom comes to help the nieces, to help, which are really her grandchildren technically, to then help Elise all escape. But then they find a red door which leads to the Lambert attic as Dalton was falling off the ladder and sees them. But then they go back to the regular red door, where they go back to the original house where one niece is and Elise is, to get their bodies back after they bring the other daughter's body spirit back to her body in the hospital. So everybody comes back okay in a sense. Elise and Christian have a reconciliation, which was nice. But then the last bit we have is the lipstick face, the blood red demon popping up in Elise's window, and she wakes up knowing the name Dalton. And then Lorraine, Josh's mom, Dalton's grandma, literally calls her and explains what's going on. And Elise says, "Tell Josh I'll be there in the morning to help Dalton." So it just leads right into Insidious. So I love the way that Leigh writes these movies, because it's just a twist and a turn, and it all comes back together. And it's just like the Saw films. It's a twist and a turn, and it all comes back together. And that's what's cool about this, and that's what's cool about that, and that's what's cool about them. Them and James Wan and Leigh Whannell. Perfect, iconic horror duo. Cannot wait for more. Mucho mahalo.